everyone, and welcome back to my channel. I am going to be making some cheese today. So I went on Amazon and I found this kit. It was very affordable. It is a mozzarella and a ricotta cheese kit, and I need to make some lasagna. So I have some meat that I need to use up. And so I am going to attempt to make ricotta cheese. I've never done this before. You do not have to have a dairy animal to do this. You can buy milk from the grocery store, and I have a gallon here that I need to use up because it's almost out of date. And you need to make sure that your milk is whole milk preferably, and that it's not ultra pasteurized. This is just pasteurized, not the ultra. The ultra does not work as good. So we're gonna pour this gallon of milk in here. This kit is really nice. It comes with everything you need to make cheese several times. And I'll show you when I get all this milk in here, it's wanting to splash, what all the kit comes with. The ricotta, it says, is easier to make than the mozzarella. That's why I'm starting with it first. And it comes with cheese salt, it comes with the citric acid, it comes with the rennet tablets, which you only need this for mozzarella cheese. It comes with the muslin that you strain the cheese out with. It even comes with a thermometer and instructions to make both cheeses. So what it says for the ricotta cheese is a large pot, and I have heard that you want to use stainless steel. I don't know if that truly matters or not, but I have mine in a stainless steel pot, and I'm gonna cook my pasta or my sauce for the lasagna in this other pot over here. So it says to put the gallon of milk in the pot, a teaspoon of citric acid before you turn it on. So here's the citric acid. I'm gonna put a teaspoon of that in here. It says that this is also where you can put the salt in, but I've seen where you could put the salt in while it's straining. So I'm gonna wait to put my salt in, but I'm gonna put, it's got some clumps in it. Put a teaspoon of citric acid, and then it says to turn on the heat and get it up to between 195 and 205 degrees. So like I said, it comes with, it says slowly heat milk, so I'm not gonna turn it up that high. So it probably takes a good 30 minutes to get this milk up to temperature. So while we're waiting for the milk to get up to temperature, you know what, I need to get one of the things that's set on the edge of the pot so that you can keep your thermometer in there. But I know that when this starts getting foamy on the top, it's starting to get close, so I'll keep an eye on it. Let me get a spoon to put in it so we can keep it stirring. I need to stir in the citric acid anyway. So it says that you're gonna stir this often and to avoid any scorching, and when the milk starts to curdle noticeably, turn the heat off and allow it to set for 1 hour. So when it gets up to temperature and starts to curdle, we will quit stirring it. It says do not stir. So we're gonna let that do its thing, and I'll come and stir it every now and again, and then I'm gonna get started on making the sauce for my lasagna. So in my lasagna sauce, I put onions, garlic, all kinds of seasonings, salt, pepper. I did not get a lot of tomatoes from my garden last year to can up, so I'm just using Aldi's roasted garlic sauce, a marinara sauce, and a traditional sauce, and I just mix these three sauces together. If I have extra sauce, I can make a second lasagna, so I may end up doing that. We'll wait and see. I always put some tomato paste in my sauce, and this is freeze-dried tomato paste. I need to put this in my food processor and make this into a powder. It's a little bit easier to use. This time I bought fresh peeled garlic. I usually don't do this. I buy it in the bulb, but made it a little easier for me this time. It was on sale, and I get my meats from Wild Pastures. I don't know if you've ever seen or heard from them, but it is the best place I have found to get meat in a subscription type form, being the non-pasture raised or the pasture raised, non-GMO, antibiotic-free meats. So I'm gonna mix a pound of ground beef with a pound of pork. And I'm gonna put that in here and get that going. Start to get our meat browning. You could definitely not put the meat in and just heat up the sauce and make the lasagna making a whole lot faster, but to me this is still pretty quick. Not making your own cheese, no. Buying the store-bought ricotta would make it a whole lot quicker, or sometimes I use cottage cheese instead of ricotta in mine, but we're just gonna see if we like homemade ricotta. My husband actually does not like ricotta cheese, so we thought we would try homemade and see if he likes it this way, because usually I do use cottage cheese in my lasagna, which is fine because cottage cheese is very high in protein, so that's good. I'm gonna get rid of these packages, and then I'm gonna get this going. Let me go get an apron. My meat package got onto this cutting board, so I'm gonna flip it over. And we're gonna cut up all this garlic and onions, and we're gonna get that in here. Probably need to sharpen my knives. Oh, I also forgot to mention the last time I made pasta, I made some homemade pasta and I had extra. So usually I would just use an oven ready lasagna noodle, or even a regular lasagna noodle. I've used regular lasagna noodles, not the oven ready. Put it in the oven the same day and it works just fine. Or you can make it the day before, let it sit in the refrigerator all night, and I really think the flavors taste even better when you're able to do that. But I'm just going to lay out my homemade pasta. I don't do this all the time, so you just use what you have. Those onions really did a number on me. I'm going to add both onions in. I need to get garlic in there as well. Let me get a piece of this. A piece about that big. It is about 2 tablespoons usually is what I put in. Just adds extra flavor. And you put in as much garlic and onion as you like. If you don't have one of these kitchen tools, I highly recommend it. I got mine at Dollar Tree. I'm going to season with some salt and pepper. Once the meat is thoroughly cooked, we're going to add our tomato sauce, which cannot open. I think these also come from Dollar Tree as well. I use them all the time. This is also the same recipe that I use when I make spaghetti. I'm gonna take a little water and get the sauce out of these jars. And we're just gonna let this sit and cook. I do usually add like a half a tablespoon or so of sugar in this sometimes to kind of cut the bitterness, so I'm gonna do that. This is coconut sugar, but you can use honey, you can use regular sugar, you can use whatever sweetener, maple syrup. It just cuts the bitterness just to add a little bit. So we're just going to let this simmer on the stove for a while we wait for our cheese to get ready, because we can't assemble the lasagna anyway until the cheese is ready. And we'll just let that simmer there and finish cooking. And the tomato paste also needs to reabsorb the liquids. Since it was freeze dried, it's still in a little bit of a chunk here. So we're just gonna keep an eye on our cheese and just keep stirring that and watching it to see when it will be ready. So our cheese is really getting close. It's almost there. I have quit stirring it because it's got noticeable curds on the top. Let's see, what's our temperature? 195 to 205. We're at 193. So what we're gonna do, we're there now. So I'm gonna turn this off and I'm gonna remove it from the heat very carefully. Push it back like that and let it sit for an hour, and we're not gonna mess with it. One thing I did to my sauce, it was a little bit more watery than what I like. Usually I cook this all day and it boils down, but since I do not have all day to boil this down today and reduce this, I put some freeze-dried zucchini in here, and it was powdered, so no one is even gonna know what's in there. So it's some extra vegetables for my family that they're not gonna have any idea that I put in there, and it thickened it up nicely, and I love to have that on hand. You can do the same with dehydrated, any dehydrated vegetables. They will reconstitute in your sauce and thicken them up. So you could use carrots, you could use whatever you want in here. If you want to add a vegetable or something like that to thicken it up. So that worked out really nicely, and now it's nice and thick. I believe I am gonna make 2 lasagnas because I have so much sauce. This is supposed to make, let me see. I thought it told me how much cheese this was supposed to make, but maybe I missed over it. Okay, it's supposed to yield approximately 1 3/4 to 2 pounds of cheese. So that's quite a lot. But it's sitting here doing its thing. I actually did end up adding some salt to it really close to the end. And I just put 2 pinches, probably 2 teaspoons of salt in there. It actually calls for salt to taste. So we're gonna let that sit for an hour. I unloaded the dishwasher and loaded it while I was waiting for this to come to boil, or not to boil, but to heat. And now I'm going to go collect eggs. I'm gonna make me a latte and just kind of let everything be for an hour, because when this is done, we'll have to strain this off. And then while it's straining, we should be able to assemble our lasagna. So I hope I didn't. Let me see how long. This may take longer to strain, 30 minutes, so we'll be close on our dinner because we have somewhere we have to be tonight. I'm gonna get this set up though, so that when it is, the hour is up. So I was looking at the clock to make sure I knew. I will be all ready for it. And this is probably where you'll want to use a ladle to strain it in. You don't want to just pour it because you could definitely burn myself. I had this set up, but I'm thinking that this is going to be too small because I have to get a gallon, well not a gallon, it won't be a whole gallon of whey, but all the whey, I'm not sure how much whey is going to be left behind. And I am going to keep the whey because you can do a lot of things with the whey, so I got this bigger pot. This does not sit in, so I'm going to set it up a different way because you don't want, you want the cheese to be up off of the whey. So I am going to use a colander like this big pot, and I'm going to get my cloth ready for the straining. I think it's just one big piece of cloth, so you could either cut it, or I'm just going to leave it folded up and let's see, it's in half, and put it in there like that. And hopefully this is washable. If this does not do well or is not washable, I bought some extra muslin blankets that I could cut down and use for this if I need to. So we're all set up, ready to go. We're gonna wait an hour on that. I'm gonna go do a couple of things around the house, and then we'll be back to strain the cheese. Okay, so it's been an hour and I scraped the edges of my ricotta cheese, and you can see that the ricotta is separated from the whey. So we're going to ladle this in here very carefully. I wondered if I could pick this up and put it in here, but I would probably make a big huge mess, so I don't know. I may try it. Let's see what happens, because this is cooled down a lot. Oh yeah. A little splashy. Let's see all of it. It looks so good. There we go. I'm even gonna scrape this out of the bottom so we get it all. It looks like it made quite a bit of cheese. So we're going to give this 30 minutes to strain out, and then we're going to see if it's strained enough for us to make some lasagna. So our ricotta cheese is done and it looks really good. If you strain this too much and you get this too firm, you can always add some heavy cream into it, just a little bit at a time until you get the right consistency. I've tasted it. It tastes really good. We're going to add 2 eggs to this. Some salt, pepper, and let me go grab my basil. I'm gonna add a little bit of basil. Just put in there however much you like. That will be our ricotta layer for our lasagna. So we're going to start layering this, and like I said, I think I have enough of everything to go on and make 2, and that way I can put one in the freezer for later, and I don't have to cook a whole lasagna. All I got to do is get it out, thaw it, and put it in the oven. So we're going to spray our 13x9, so a little bit of olive oil spray. Put down a ladle full of sauce. some noodles. I'm going to put our sauce down again. We're going to put some of our cheese mixture. And then we're going to add some mozzarella cheese. And then we'll start all over again with our layering. A little bit of sauce here. You can see it's mixed in with the cheese real nicely. And we're going to put some mozzarella cheese on the top, a whole lot this time. And then we're going to put some Parmesan. You can use fresh. I just have the kind in the green can. Sprinkle that on top and it's ready to go into the oven. So I'm gonna cook this and then I'm gonna make the other one. The lasagna is all finished. It looks delicious and I can't wait to dig into it tonight. I'm waiting for my husband to get home and my kids will come in and probably have some too. Made some homemade breadsticks really quick to go with it, and I hope that you guys try this out. If you want to make some cheese or just even a homemade lasagna and buy your own ricotta cheese, that's fine too. I did take all of the whey left over from the ricotta that I made and I froze it in my silicone molds so that I can freeze dry that and have that on hand whenever I want it. So I appreciate you guys watching and I hope you guys have a great day and we'll see you in the next one.